Why did you fail your first driving test? I had a friend in high school who was so nervous that he drove his car halfway through the DMV wall. For some reason they didn't let him pass. Mom was to take me to the test. I had passed the written part with ease, so Mom gets my sister, who was 12 at the time, in the backseat and off we go. We get there, and when it was my turn, Mom pulls up into the spot. The testing guy comes over, checks Mom's license, checks my permit, which you get so you can practice with an adult in the car, and then tells everyone to get out of the car. My little sister goes, "No." Mom tells her to get out of the car. Debbie repeats, "No." The tester immediately fails me at that moment. I hit 5 people in a tree, but I don't know why they failed me, cause no one died. Listen to the instructor. I got into an argument mid-exam with the officer. We were about 50 feet from a stop sign and she issued a command to stop the car. I stopped gently at the stop sign. She told to put the car in park and berated me not stopping immediately. I told her if she wanted me to jam on the brakes and stop immediately, she should have been more specific or issue the command before 50 feet from the stop sign when I was already braking. We went back and forth a bit, then continued the exam, but it was unrecoverable as she issued a score of failing by a single point. I went back the required 30 days later and passed easily with a different officer. No idea if we were both having bad days or that was her MO every day. Parkinson. I turned left on a red light. I was 16 and nervous. Legitimately hit a wall. I did perfectly the entire thing. So much so that the instructor allowed me to just pull into the parking spot at the end instead of backing in. I pulled in an inch too far and tapped the wall. The instructor was not mad, just disappointed, and gave me an auto fail. To this day, I blame the pointed front end of the bumper on the Pontiac Sunfire I was driving. Grinning, squinting face. I was driving my Bigfoot Power Wheels with the pedal mashed down, and I was looking everywhere except in front of me. My head met the side mirror of my mom's car. I got stitches and was stripped of any/all driving privileges. I think the driving instructor was a little too harsh on me though, TBH. Everyone told me I didn't need to know how to parallel park to pass the test. They were wrong. I barely tapped the cone and got a fail. My grandpa showed me how to parallel park the next day and I aced the test the next time I went. I've only needed to parallel park 7 times in my 30 years of driving. I parked outside the white line during the yard test by an inch. The license officer told me get out the car and failed me right there. In my country, you could do everything right or make the smallest mistake, the officer will pass or fail you depending on how they feel that day. I did get my license the second time around, but it feels very demotivating when you think about that. They gave me a car with a sensitive clutch that also had a massive dead zone, which made me miss the green light and rev the engine at the red light, and despite not crossing the stop line or blocking any traffic, he marked my mistake down as running a red light. My second fail was because the dude gave me a very difficult instruction where I had to merge from 0 to an 80 km road and then switch lanes to make a U-turn that was 100 m away from me. On the bright side, I drilled this one with my instructor and became a more skillful driver because of it. My third fail. Keep in mind the past 2 exams were in English. The guy swapped languages as soon as we entered the car, and when I said I don't understand him, he said to bring a translator next time. What a great waste of a day. Gad, I wish I could slap the idiots in that country. I failed the written portion to get my permit 3 times before I got it. My older sister got it on the first go. She failed the driving portion to get her license 2 times. I actually passed the driving on the first go. Snowy streets. Didn't see the white line for the stop sign. Stopped just over it, but before the sidewalk markings. Examiner grabbed my door handle and it broke in her hand. She said I had to get it fixed to have the test. Second test, I failed the parallel parking. A few months later, local MVA announced parallel parking no longer needed for the test, but all must take a driver's ed course. Glad I got mine before that, saved 50. Inexperience with how different vehicles behave when in low gear. I had only ever driven a truck whose gas pedal was really soft. Seriously, this truck needed to have the pedal pushed halfway down just to get it to crawl. I had to take the test in the driving instructor's little Honda. Whoops. Failed the first time because I was speeding. I blame it on learning on a standard and tested on an automatic. Failed the second time because at a 4-way stop I stopped with someone else stopped to my right, and he waved me on, so I went. Immediate fail.